My name is John McKeon, and I'm the moderator of the Teradata Primo River community, Teradata Primo's largest customer community. You can connect with us at teradataRiver2.com. Today, we'd like to welcome Guru and Nazik from PepsiCo. PepsiCo is the second largest food and beverage company in the world, and they will both be speaking at Partners Conference this year on Teradata 1310, data compression and benefits of point-of-sale data Mart. Welcome to the river.
Thanks, John.
Nazik, let's start with you. I mean, if you're going to be talking about point-of-sale data, that's a huge jump for most companies like PepsiCo to go from just sales data to POS data. What prompted that move?
Okay, so right now in most of our systems at PepsiCo, when we want to use the data that we have for forecasting, what we use is something called sell-in data or shipment data. That is what we actually sell to our end customer, and our end customer at this point is the actual retailers. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to see the behavior of the final customer, that is the person like you and me, who actually goes to these retailers or the grocers and then buys these products. Because when we get that information, we can see the behavioral patterns of our customers. We can see what kind of products they're buying, at what price they're buying, what time of the year they're buying, and how does having certain promotions affect their buying habits. So that's what we wanted to key. And then we wanted to use this data to do the forecasting analysis, to do our demand planning analysis.
Nazik, so when you're using POS data, you can actually drill down to price, to date, to promotion. How do you use those specifics?
So, for example, one of Pepsi's big weekends is, like any retailer, is Super Bowl weekend. And so we can analyze data and sales on what promotions we ran during Super Bowl weekend. And then in the future, we can say, oh, we ran this promotion and this promotion did increase our sales. Or we can say, oh, you know what, this didn't help so much. What we're basically doing is, once we run a promotion, we analyze that data, and then the business teams use that data to plan their future promotions.
So, Nazik, what about the impact on supply chain? It must be huge if you have that much better data from the POS.
Yes, it is huge because it actually tells us exactly what our end consumer demands. And what this does is, for one, it'll avoid supply shortages. And then the other thing it does is it eradicates excess inventory. And one will increase our revenue and the other will reduce our costs.
And really, if you look at it from the consumer's perspective, they're going to have their favorite products on the shelf more often, right?
Yes, exactly. So what we want to avoid is we don't want a customer to go into a store and in their minds they're going to buy something and they come to the shelf and when it's empty, yeah, I've gone through that. It's disappointing. And at PepsiCo, we want to deliver to our customer always.
Well, so this is great, Nazik. I mean, you're going from sales data to POS data, but you have just decided to put a whole lot more data on the data warehouse. You're talking about a massive data set. And I'll turn this question to you, Guru. How do you deal with all this huge data set that's now coming in that's much larger than the selling data?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to add more infrastructure cost to store those massive data sets. Apparently, Teradata offers different compression types to reduce the space, and also there are opportunities to improve the system performance also with compression types. We partnered with our DBAs to do this sort of analysis, what we can do better without losing any data. And during design phase, we experimented this different types of compression with sampling of 1 billion records. So what we concluded is the multi-value compression with block-level compression yielded great results for our needs. That combination it resulted in 91% of space savings. And also there are some performance overhead in CPU, but it depends on case-to-case basis. Ultimately, our concern is main on the storage. So we ended up with these two options.
So basically, what you're doing is you're actually saving space and system performance on this. Give me some numbers in terms of what type of CPU overhead that you're changing.
So for this testing, we took 1 billion records, and for the storage size, without any compression, it took around 161 GB. So after this compression techniques are implemented, it brought down to 15 GB. So that's a huge savings for us. So we did analysis with respect to full table scan for these options. It took around 1,000 CPU seconds when compared to 860 CPU seconds without any compression. So there is a little overhead. And again, we weighed out what is the best one for our business need. And it's not a huge difference for us. So we ended up with that option.
Guru, that sounds really impressive. When you were actually designing for this, how did you address concerns of SLAs for batch load?
Yes, certainly. So whenever we go with this compression, it's massive work effort. We need to spend in the analysis to find out whether I'm concerned with the storage cost or meeting SLAs in the batch process, or the key factor is related to the reporting performance. So we have to really validate where the real bottleneck is and identify what is ultimate to my business needs. And one important guideline what we used is understanding our data. So if we know the data and classify where it falls, like whether it's a hot data, warm data, or cold data, then it's kind of helping us to figure it out what kind of compressions we can adapt. So what we came up is for POS fall under cold and warm. Then it's not our daily reports which are related to POS for now. So we finalized, okay, let's go with the multi-value compression with a block level. Even though there is a small CPU overhead, we are good with it because currently all our batch processors are accessing this data and there are no online reports right now.
Guru and Nazik will be presenting at this year's Partners Conference, Teradata 1310, Data Compression and Benefits for Point-of-Sale Data Mart. It should be a great talk on not only some secrets around data compression, but what happens when you go from sales data to POS data. We look forward to hearing your session. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.